It's a great story, and it's a story that everybody should be aware of, especially the way we are now, to show that people can show love and support and encouragement and just for our fellow man. So we have friends from Seattle that are invested in the play, so we couldn't not come.
The play of emotions, the ups and downs, were handled so nicely. The poignancy of it, but
it's got a lot of heart. It takes something that was so bad, and it shows about human kindness. What do you think of the people of Gander for letting people into their homes like that?
I mean, you want to go to Gander, don't you? I mean, you want to go embrace all those people in Gander.
And the reaction of the Newfoundlanders in Gander, it was a much different reaction. It was like, yeah, we know we do that, we know, and that, but when you look at those people tonight, they were standing on their feet, you know. It was just a phenomenon. You can see the expressions like, it was almost that they didn't believe. It's hard to believe that something like this could happen, that a small town of, you know, compared to New York, a small town of 7,000 or 8,000, 9,000 people and your few surrounding community could do such a task with only 500 hotel rooms. So it's amazing that you have to be here to experience it. You know, it's just phenomenal.
What did it feel like when you guys walked out on the stage with that Newfoundland flag dragged around Durham?
It certainly made us feel very proud, and I think that one thing that Newfoundlanders and Labradorians are proud people, but they're proud not that they're into this we're not here to get self-praise. This is not about us as an individual. It's about a community. It's about a province. And boy, I tell you, if the people that's coming to Newfoundland and Labrador that is telling me they're going to visit, we are going to have a lot of tourists over the next few years. You know, I think we might see quite a few this summer because people are so excited. They want to come and see what it's all about. They want to see, are you really that small? As one lady said, you sure you only had 9,000 people living there? Yes, we did, and they're overwhelmed with that. So the province is going to benefit from this in tourism.
It's absolutely unbelievable. At the moment at the end, when the cast came across the stage with the people who helped inspire their characters was just, you know, what I've been waiting for since the very beginning when the pen hit the paper.
Yeah, I'm proud of the Newfoundlanders who are here tonight, who gave so much and who constantly think this is just what anyone would have done, and instead you have this entire room of people celebrating them for what they did and telling them this isn't ordinary, it's extraordinary. It's great to have them here.
Back to that, when the pen hit the paper, where did you guys get the idea to do this?
A friend of ours suggested it to us. He was starting something called the Canadian Musical Theatre Project, and
we traveled out to Newfoundland on the 10th anniversary. We got a Canada Council for the Arts grant. We got to extend it because everyone there was like, don't be spending money on hotels, come to stay with us, just feed the cats. And we interviewed everyone we possibly could. We started, we talked to them for like 5 or 6 hours at a time, and then they'd invite us into their homes for dinner, and then they'd invite us to stay with them. And we saw the same generosity that the Come From Ways did in 2001, and we made lifelong friendships too.
Yeah, I bet you did. I was talking to Beulah, and she was telling me about how you guys stayed at her house and all that kind of stuff. There are so many stories. How did you boil this all down into 100 minutes?
We did our absolute best to fit as many in as we could, and we had to amalgamate storylines. We had to composite characters, and even as short as a week ago, some of the babies went out with the bathwater, so to speak. And it was tough, but we were working with an awesome team with Chris and our director, and Kelly's our choreographer, Ian's our music supervisors. So they've helped us a lot.
And the cast as well. We've got this amazing 12-person cast that switches on a dime from character to character to character, from accent to accent, and it's this amazing magic trick that we never get tired of watching what they do. It's just incredible.
What was the most challenging aspect of putting this all together? Because, you wrote it, you did all the music, you guys did everything.
I think probably the most challenging aspect is our daughter was born just as we first presented the show in New York City at the NAMT Festival. So probably doing this with, first coming to New York with a 10-week-old. No, she was 8 weeks old at the time, and then now we've got a 3-year-old uptown. So, yeah.
She's grown up with the show. They're kind of siblings, but she got her first tooth out of Newfoundland. She said her first words out of Newfoundland, and it's a challenge working as husband and wife.
For sure.
It's a challenge working as parents, but it's also like at the end of the day, I can't imagine ever working with someone who you don't, fully love and fully trust, and you're always going in the same direction. So it's amazing.
Anything else that you guys want to add?
We just want to send thanks back to all our friends in Newfoundland. We have a lot of them here tonight, but we met so many people there, and it's an extraordinary story to be telling that we're honored to tell.
Yeah.
American Airlines had the prettiest planes, so I applied as a flight engineer. But the World War II pilots, they all complained. They said girls shouldn't be in the cockpit. Hey lady, hey baby, hey, why don't you grab us a drink? And the flight attendants weren't my friends back then, and they said, are you better than us, do you think?
The very first thing I noticed when I got off the airplane, and this is what made me realize that we had landed in such a special place, is we walked through the terminal. We all had to be registered by the Red Cross, and there were tables and tables of food. And I could not believe it, because what that meant is they had been up all night preparing all this food, because we got off early in the morning at 7 o'clock. And they literally gave us a plastic bag and just let us go through a buffet line and take anything we wanted. And, we were pretty exhausted at that point. We'd been up for so many hours. And so it was extremely emotional. All the flight attendants are crying, and nobody can believe the generosity. And that was just the beginning of it all.
Did you ever think that this would end up where it has on Broadway tonight being opening night?
When we left Gander on September 15th and we flew back to Dallas, I'm pretty certain that everybody assumed they would never be back in Gander. Having 2 more emergency medical diverts to Gander after 9/11. So I made 3 landings there. And then when we went back for the 10th anniversary was when I met David and Irene. And they asked if they could interview me. And I happened to be the only returning pilot. And there were probably about 125 pilots. And I was the only one that went back for the 10th anniversary. So they interviewed me for about 4 hours. I knew they were playwrights, but I don't know a whole lot about Broadway or theater, so I did the interview. It was wonderful, and that was kind of it. I never thought too much more about it. And then we got the call in the summer of 2015 inviting us to the world premiere in La Jolla, and they said, remember that couple that you did the interview with in Gander? I said, yes. And they said, well, they've written a musical, and it opens in La Jolla. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we'll be there. So we went, and that was the first time we saw the show. Tonight was the 55th time I have seen the show. I have followed it to every city. We've put our life on hold for a year and a half. We've gone back to Gander with the cast and the show, and we've seen it in every place that it has played.
What do you think when you see Jen sing Me in the Sky?
Oh, the song just melts my heart. It is truly verbatim. Parts of it are verbatim from my interview with David and Irene. And they actually sent us the transcript of the play, and in the back is the transcript of our interview. And you can take paragraphs that I said to them, and it's in the song. I mean, I couldn't believe it could possibly be put to music. But it's literally my life flying-wise in 4 minutes and a few seconds. And I love the song.
Suddenly I got my own drinks.